Welcome to the Brass and Woodwind Shop. It has been a while since I've worked on this Enharmonic Euphonium. Life has been very busy and I've had a lot of other things I needed to do, but I'm finally back at it. And last time, if you remember, I had the bow and the first branch stuck together and I could not get them apart because the ferrule would not come off the tapered end and it was stuck on this end. One of my viewers left a message in the comments section and they said that I should try putting flux on there. So I did that, I put flux on it and it came right off within just a few minutes. Thank you for that advice, it really did help. As you can tell by all these parts, I did start to take apart this instrument. There still are two slides that are stuck. This one, the second slide, and then this slide here, I'm not sure which one that even is called. I'm going to try to get those slides out. I have no idea how long it's going to take to do that. I'm guessing that the two slides are very stuck, and I cannot pull those out the normal way that I might using leverage because of the way that the slides are. If I did it that way, it would probably destroy the casing and the tubing that is soldered directly into the casing. So I'm going to have to unsolder the crook and take that apart. So what I'm going to do is unsolder the crook and then see if those slides can get twisted out. I'm guessing that the slide is very stuck just because the instrument is very old, and also you can see some dents right there on the inside of the crook. Usually inside of the crooks do not get dents in them, but I can tell that somebody got those dents in there trying to tap the slide out, and obviously the slide did not move. Usually I would start by trying to tap the slide out, and I would not tap it so hard that there would be damage on here, but because this is so stuck, or at least I'm guessing it is so stuck, I'm going to start by unsoldering these and pulling off the crook. I already put penetrating oil on this and I let it soak for a while. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up the tubes, and I have the wooden assembly mandrel here, and when I get that heated up to temperature, I'm going to put that in between the crook, and you have to get both of them up to temperature at the same time. Oh, and you have to be quick. Oh, well, the slide's coming out without even being unsoldered, so I guess I'll just tap the slide out. Okay, well that slide came out easier than I thought it was going to. I will still need to take the slide apart because it has a lot of dents in there, so I need to unsolder these so that I can get in there with a mandrel and get those dents out. Now I'm going to remove the second slide, almost the same way I removed the other one, but I need to be careful because see how long this knuckle is? So if I just tap this out and I do it too hard, what's going to happen is this whole thing is going to bend, and this is going to bend very easily because those tubes are very soft. So I'm going to tap very lightly, and it may come out again like it did the other time, or the solder joints may come loose. Either way, I need to get that slide out. If you're wondering what this is an alto saxophone neck tenon expander. I'm not using it for that right now, obviously. I'm just using it to hold onto the casing cluster. This time I'm going to use a broken drumstick that will fit in there better, and I'm going to tap very lightly, and I figure I'll just try it without the heat the first time. And I'm tapping very lightly. Okay, I don't think it is moving, so I'm going to apply the heat now. And I'm going to unsolder those two joints, or at least melt the solder. Okay, and then I have to act very quickly because solder cools off quickly. Okay, that does not seem to be moving, so I need to try that again. We'll just apply a little bit more heat. And you can tell when the solder joints melt because you get little balls of solder that come out where the joint goes together. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some flux. If you remember at the beginning of the video where I mentioned that someone suggested that I put flux on a stubborn solder joint, I'm going to try that and see if that helps. So I'm going to heat that up again. And when I see solder, I know that it is ready to go. Okay, here we go. Tap that, see if anything happens. Okay, it came out. This is called a large slide expander, but I'm not going to use it to expand the slide. I'm just going to use it to hold onto it. And I'm going to put in there just a little bit. And the reason why I just want to go up to where the ferrule is, I do not want to extend to the side tube, because if that expands, then it's going to be even more stuck. Now what I'm going to do is try to twist this out. I'm going to go back and forth. I have to be very careful because I can see the slide moving already, and it's flexing at this knuckle. So that's not really the best thing, but if I'm careful, it will not bend. Okay. Now what I may need to do is unsolder these tubes here and then try to pull it out that way. I'll try it just a little bit more. What I'm doing is I'm going back and forth. And the reason why is if I just push all the way, it's going to mess things up very badly. But if you just go a little bit back and forth, sometimes it's enough to loosen up the slide but not damage anything. Okay, I don't know. I don't think that one's going to come out easily. So I'm going to put this in the other tube and try that. Okay, there, that one is coming out. So that one came out with no problem. And this one I'm a little bit nervous about it kinking. What I'm going to do now, since I have the crook off, I can put some penetrating oil inside of the tube, and then it will work its way from two directions. So I'm going to put some inside here, and then on the outside also. And I'm going to heat that up, and the heat draws in the penetrating oil. That may loosen it up just enough to come loose. I'm going to try it one more time. And if it does not work this time, then I am going to take it apart. So I'm carefully twisting, and I'm watching very closely, and I'm also feeling it as I go. Okay, well, the slide expander gave loose, and not the tube. So I don't think that's going to work. So I am going to unsolder this tube and pull that out, and then I should be able to get at it so that I can remove the tube. So here's my setup. I have the valve cluster in the vise, and I have the expander onto the tube. I'm going to heat that up and then try to rotate it. Oh, look at that. It's coming out. I think just the heat and the penetrating oil work together to loosen that up. So I did not even need to unsolder that. In band instrument repair, it's almost always harder to do a task than you think it's going to be. So I will be thankful that this one went a lot quicker. Now the next thing to do is order some tools. I need to order some brown casing mandrels and also some casing sleeves. But first I need to figure out what sizes that I need. I have several valves for this instrument. If you remember a while back, somebody sent another instrument, one for parts right here, and that one had 3 valves with it. So I have 7 valves altogether. So I'm going to use the best ones to work on here. If I put this in there, you can see that that is quite loose. So I'm going to need to plate these valves and build them up and do a valve job on this instrument. I'm going to do that much later, but I want to get those tools ordered because it's going to take a few days to get here. So what I'm going to do is figure out the diameter of the valve. I'm going to measure some diameters on these valves, and I use the plural because there are probably going to be a lot of different diameters. Looks like it's what, 866, and I'm measuring them in thousandths of an inch. So 866, and then let's see, if I turn that a little, yeah, it's about 867. Yeah, they're probably going to be like 20 different diameters on here. It looks like it's around 866, 867 for this valve. I'm going to measure some other valves too. I measured all the valves, and I got every measurement from 858 thousandths to 868 thousandths, so there's a huge variation in these valves. So these valves are going to need a lot of plating, but the amount of plating they're going to need is going to depend on the diameter of the bore of the casing. Now I'm going to measure the bore of the casings. There are a lot of different ways to do that. How I'm going to do it is I have a tapered mandrel, and I'm going to slide the casings onto there, and then take a marker, and I'm going to mark how far it goes on there. And again, as with the pistons, they may be different. Okay, that's about the same. That's about the same too. Sometimes the ends of casings can be flared. Okay, that goes on a little bit farther. So I have to account for that also. Now this casing, okay, looks like they're all about the same. So I'm going to measure that. I'm going to measure the mandrel where the line is. I think it's probably around 871. These are the tools I'm going to need to order. This is a ground casing mandrel, and it has a number on it, 888, and that means 888 thousandths of an inch. And obviously that's going to be a little bit too large to go in there. I do not have the correct size, so I'm going to order probably 2 of those. And then these are the ground valve sleeves, and this is a 857th, so that's not going to fit. It's just a little bit too small. This is a 905, so that's quite a bit too big. So obviously I'm going to need to order some of those too. I'm going to use the ground casing mandrels to work on the inside of the casings and to make those cylindrical. And then I'm going to use the ground valve sleeve to work on the outside of the valves and to make those cylindrical also. I am going to order a few different sizes of each of these because when I work on the valves and the casings, they are going to change sizes. So I'm going to need to change sizes of the tool as I go. And also I'm going to put a different grit of lapping compound, so that's going to take up a different amount of space in between there. I'm going to order the tools from Ferree's Tools. They're in Battle Creek, Michigan, and they sell to everybody. You can look up their website. I'm going to leave the information in the description below. And here are the tools I'm going to order. The N58 ground casing mandrels, and you have to specify what size you need. The same with the N28 ground valve sleeves. Then on the next 2 pages they have the different types of instruments and the size of the casings. They do not have anything that's 871. They do have 864 for Boozy Hawks, which this instrument is, but it's a little bit larger than that. For the ground casing mandrels, I'm going to order an N58, and then I want, let's see, an 871, and an N58 869. The 869 will give me a little bit of room to work. If the 871 does not fit in there right away, I'm going to work it down with the 869 to the point where the 871 can fit in there. So I'm going to order those 2. I don't think I'm going to need anything smaller, and I definitely do not think I'm going to need anything larger. So I'm going to order those 2 of the casing mandrels, and then the ground casing sleeves, and N28. Let's see, I have a lot of different sizes on this. The smallest one is 858, but that 858 is going to get bigger when I put plating on it. So I think the largest one I'm going to want is the 871. So I'm going to order an 871. Then I'm going to order 869. Then I want a smaller one also. Probably, let's see, 865. That should do it. I'm going to start with those. If I need to order more, I will. I can use them in the future for other repairs, and I have been getting a lot of instruments in lately for valve work, so there's a good chance I'm going to need these again on another instrument. Down here it says that the standard sleeve length is 3 inches, like that. If you need a different length, you must specify when ordering. Additional charge may apply. 3 inches is fairly short for this very long valve, so I may order a longer one. I'm also going to order some tubing. A lot of the ends of the slides are cracked and broken, so I'm going to replace some of that. I'm going to try to fix what I can, but some of this is probably going to be a little bit too difficult to fix. Ferree's Tools does not sell that, so I ordered that from Allied, and Allied Supply sells only to music stores and repair shops. So most people cannot order from Allied. So if you do need to order something from Allied, you can go to your local repair shop and they can probably order it for you. So I'm going to mark that. And this is going to measure the inside diameter of the tubing. So I'm going to line that up. Okay, it's about 568. Let's see if they have that size. 568 inside diameter. Yes, they have that. Outside diameter 607. 607. And we'll see if that's the right size. No, it's considerably smaller than that. It ended up taking quite a while. Allied did not have anything that matched what I had there. So if you remember, I got that silver Enharmonic Euphonium, so I measured those. The bore and all the tubing sizes are different. I was wondering if I could find something that would work, and nothing would work on this one. So I did find a tube on here that was close enough. I'm just going to order the tubes that fit inside of each other, and then if I need to replace a tube, I'm just going to replace both the inner and outer tubes. I did find something that would function. It would have fit into there, but the bore size was considerably smaller, and I don't want to mess with a smaller bore size on this instrument. So what I'm going to do is keep the bore size and end up with a little bit bigger tubing, but it should fit on there just fine. So I'm going to order those 2 tubes, and if I need them, then I have them on hand. And if I don't need them, then I'll probably use them some other time for another project. So this is what I'm going to order for today: the ground casing mandrels, the ground valve sleeves, and then the 2 pieces of tubing from Allied. I'm going to get those supplies ordered. While I'm waiting a few days for those to come in, I'm going to work on the dents on this instrument. There are probably 200 dents, and I have to take out every one. I want this instrument to be nice when I'm done, so that is going to be a lot of work, but that is for the next video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more band instrument repair videos, and look in the description below for links to related videos, and also my website, which has a lot of tools and supplies that you can purchase.